my expectations are basically nothing. I do not expect anyone to use this app. It's 1:40 a.m. on January 19th, 2018. I meant 2019. Is that correct? That is correct. Okay, so exciting thing that just happened to me, which is, basically the last week has just been super, super tough on me. I've been without my phone on purpose, and there's been a lot of focus, a lot of hard work, and a lot of challenge. But anyways, let's get into what the fuck just happened. And that is, I just completed the MVP for List. And MVP, by the way, if you don't speak Silicon Valley, is minimal viable product. It basically means, what is the minimum feature set that is going to make this good and actually solve the problem? That is at least my take on MVP. There's a whole bunch of takes, but that's what I'm thinking about it currently. And yeah, I'm excited. This has been something that's been it's been nagging at me for like two years. And let's get into the origin. So basically, back in the day when I started to learn to code, I actually learned to code so after DFluff was phasing out, if you will, and that was around that was in like late August, early September of 2016, and I was like, okay, Kyle's leaving, who was our CTO at the time. Shout out Kyle Platt. And so he was leaving DFluff, and I had to figure out, okay, I guess I will learn to code. Which, by the way, in retrospect, there was no way I was going to get up to speed in time. But I didn't know that. So all I was saying is, okay, there's a void and I had to fill it now. So let's learn to code. So I did, and I started with the basics, and I was a complete rookie. I still feel like a rookie, honestly. I feel like I'm just starting, but clearly I'm not. I have fucking 2+ years under my belt of web development now. But anyways, which is not full time. Anyway, this is a fucking another discussion in itself. But so where was I headed with that? DFluff, yes. So I was learning to code, and then I ended up deciding to leave DFluff and move on to just deciding to code as a thing. And I wanted to become a web developer. Now, since then, that dream has changed. That goal has changed. I do not want to be a web developer anymore. That's not, I don't think I can have enough impact in that area. And I'm just not as passionate about it as I once was. For better or for worse, I might be making a mistake here. I might not. I don't think I am, no. It doesn't feel like I am, based on where I project my life going. And where I project the world going. Anyways, again, more side topics that I could be complete rabbit holes. And let me know if you do want to hear about one of these side topics or rabbit holes, because I could go down in a different video or a different podcast. So, anyways, let's get back to DFluff as I keep derailing us here. And so yeah, I learned to code, and then the main thing I wanted to learn to code with was with internalize. And internalize was this idea of holding topics of information. It could have been text, it could have been it could have been text, and it could have been pictures or images. But I didn't know how to do the whole like file upload thing and serving images at the time, so it had to only be text at the start. So that was a small limitation of internalize. But I kept going with it. I learned the whole fucking spectrum of building a web app from scratch. And I learned the whole spectrum of the basics of learning to build a web app from scratch. And I did that. And then what was it? Was it April 2017? I launched the first version of Internalize. And that was super cool, except I had so much resistance around recruiting anyone. And I also made it paid, which was a mistake. But lessons learned. And from there, though, I watched it fizzle out as well, because I don't know, there was just I just knew it wasn't solving the challenge I set out to solve correctly. And there was the main challenge of making sure I am the whole thing with internalize was receiving one piece of information at a time in a shuffled order, and it could hold like, yeah, like I went on so many different theses, but ultimately that was like what the product did as a main part, which is like take collections of information, whether that's wisdom or your favorite quotes or your goals or whatever, and serve it to you in a randomized fashion, one thing at a time and in a focused manner. So you weren't like, you were actually internalizing what you were viewing and not just on autopilot. And that was like the main thing that it was setting out to solve. But there was there was something missing. And I feel like that was where List's idea was planted. And it was like around September or something like that. I think it was in September. Yeah, I was like sick, and I was just sitting there coding random stuff, and I built this tiny little thing called Wall of Grace, which was like this column / like grid thing where I had images of great men in history. And it was like just a thing I built in Photoshop a long time ago, but I wanted to build it in code to see if it would work properly. And it did. And it was like cool. And I enjoyed the format of it, the layout. It was just interesting having everything at once instead of this like one thing at a time that I'd been so focused on. But just like having that grid aspect was really cool. And so from there, I was like, okay, fuck. Internalize really needs images badly. And so I decided, okay, why don't we try to build something with the format of Wall of Greats mixed with internalize, and actually add images and make the focus more on like keep randomization and shuffle, because that still is a massive part of everything. But did I even mention that before? Because that was like one of the main things with internalize is making sure everything is shuffled. I wanted to keep that shuffle aspect of everything, making sure that nothing is in the correct order and that everything is randomized to keep the brain alert and active, so it's not glazing over when it views things. So enter lists. I ended up I wanted to learn React, and I was going to use lists as my first React thing, and then I was like, okay, fuck this is way too complicated. I needed to learn React in a much simpler manner, and I ended up doing that with joshmoxey.com. Shout out that website. Still up, doing tweaks as we speak. But so learned React with that and Redux, and that was fucking complex as hell. But now it's quite simple, thankfully. But that was a journey in itself as well. And yeah, so and then after I finished that in June, I've been like hacking on lists here and there, and then like just after this new year, I've decided, okay, let's just go fucking all in until it's done. And I did. And yeah, it's been a fucking, I thought it was going to take way less. So I thought first of all, I thought list was going to be like, easily like mid 2018, I thought this is going to be out, but it's not, and it's here now. And I'm grateful for that. So, but at the same time, I just thought it was going to come so much earlier, but I'm glad that it's in my presence now. And so let me just explain what the fuck, if it's not clear what it is by now. It is and I'm really bad at explaining things I create, by the way, so bear with me here, but it takes like the best stuff from internalize and adds better stuff. It takes, you have lists, quote unquote, which are, you could think of them like a page or whatever, and that page includes cards, and cards can hold text and images. And within that basic functionality right there, and then you can click on it and it expands, so you can focus on zero in on one at a time if you want. But these cards are randomized in a randomized order. Okay, so and that right there, the point of that is to keep your brain ever present on the information or the images at hand and not keep you in this autopilot state, because once you view things enough time, you can start to like glaze over and stuff like that. So that's the point of the shuffle. And I love the grid aspect of things, because when it's in a grid, you're like bombarding yourself with like positivity. And typically that's what the lists are going to be used for me. So for example, the main use case I built it for is for my dream board. So I want to have images so I imagine typically a dream board would be like on the wall, or I would just imagine a dream board on a wall. For me, that's cool. The problem with that is, number one, someone can walk in and see all of your vulnerable dreams, and I'd rather a minimize tab so I can hide shit if I want to. Number two, if I look at the dream board enough, it starts to become less special. Like you get used to seeing everything in XYZ place. So I'm seeing a car in the top left-hand corner, but after a while, I can't just like manually shuffle them unless I really actually want to like pick each thing apart and retape everything, or apply however I'm sticking them on the wall. But that aspect of, I just want everything to change every time. I don't want there to be an order. I want to be fully present to the images and the text at hand. So whether that's me looking at my dream board, or me looking at, or me reviewing my favorite quotes, me reviewing favorites or like reasons of, so like the first list I made, which is, what did I call it? Basically why I persevered on making lists. And it just gives a few like reasons, and those like, things like these are really why I made it. Another thing is like a compliment list, keeping track of compliments, and when people say kind things that are actually genuine compliments, keeping track of that. So when you're feeling low on confidence, you can just look at that fucking list, and you'll have a randomized list, and you can like scroll down and just bombard yourself with good thoughts and positivity. Anyways, so I'm just fucking grateful. I'm aware that was not a very good pitch. So anyways, the thing's fucking free. You can try it out if you want. But I did not build it for everyone. I just built it for people who like keeping track of collections and like, yeah, just a lot of collections and lists and stuff like that, but don't like the stagnant order. They want things to be shuffled. They want a new order every time. The grid fashion is also a really cool way of viewing lists. So instead of the bullet type of thing where it's just like all in one line, so there's just like a whole bunch of random things like that. So yeah, that's what it solves a bunch of random tiny niche problems for me. It probably won't solve a lot of things for many people, and that's quite okay with me, because this is just something that I know is going to just solve a ton for me. So anyways, this week though was fucking hard. Like, I said I was going to be done on Monday, and then on Monday I said I was going to be done on Tuesday and Wednesday, etc. And I just kept saying it, and it's Saturday, or it's Friday night technically right now. Meaning like I'm still up from Friday, and because it's 1:00 a.m. and excuse me. So this habit of, or this continuous cycle of saying I'm going to be doing something and then it not happening has really taken a toll on me. Like, I was dead as fuck today. I wanted just nothing to do. Like, I just wanted to just sleep. I've been sleeping 10 hours per night these past couple nights. It's also coffee. Coffee was not helping either. I experienced insane exhaustion this week is basically what I'm trying to say. It was interesting to say the least. I do not recommend it. I just did not handle things properly. I've noticed this week, and one of my biggest learns was like how exhausting it is when you are breaking your commitments and your agreements to yourself. So you have to be very cautious of what you're promising to yourself and other people, because if you are saying one thing and it doesn't happen, you very quickly start to get into this habit and gain momentum of almost like lying. You're not trying to lie, but it is what's happening. You're saying one thing and it's not happening. So be very cautious of the words you say, or even the thoughts. If you're mentally committing, be cautious of that as well. Set yourself up to win. And I did not do a good job of that. I kept saying tomorrow, even like I genuinely believed it each time, but it was just like, I'm super bad at estimating time in the future, and that's a clear weakness of mine. And yeah, just more and more bugs, and I straight dominated this week, but it was just, there was so much, and dominated with an asterisk, because I was doing the best I could within like exhaustion and like the fucking I went on such a roller coaster this week. It was insane. I just experienced so much self-doubt, so much resistance. My brain was not working properly in the morning. It was just like, what is going on? There was just so much weird shit happening. And that is, I find, probably my ego trying to self-sabotage me. And because it knows I was getting close to lists. It's impossible to say this fucking word. Like, there's a possibility that I might change it to grids just so I can say the word without having to say it 4 times and still people not understand what the fuck I'm saying. But yeah, it was a ride this week. So, and there was also part of me that didn't want any bugs on launch, which is a really silly thing to think or wish for, because bugs are part of software. Oh my god, what is happening? My laptop has just turned on. So this is the fucking sound I've had to deal with this entire time. Let me quickly shut this off and put it under the bed so you can't hear it. Ish. You can still kind of hear it. But yeah, so lessons, takeaways. You can hack at something over time, and over time make it happen. This has been something that has been like eating at me for the longest time, like years. And like, I've wanted this to happen since I've been 16 years old. Something like this. And then it ultimately led me to internalize, which ultimately led me to this. And now we're here, and I'm just so glad, because I'm seeing all of the different ways that I'm going to be using this, and how I'm going to use it to focus me, and how I'm going to use it to influence me in a positive way, positively program myself, keep myself focused and aligned on my vision and my goals and my dreams, keep my brain up to par, my thoughts, and keep things top of mind that I want to keep there. Remind myself of why I'm doing certain things. A whole shit ton of stuff. But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited. It's gonna be fucking great. And I'm just glad that it's up now. And I've said this so many times, but still. And let's just cover, so yeah, actually hold up. I didn't finish my lessons. What else can I say in terms of takeaways? I've got to do a better job in the future of projecting timelines and figuring out how the fuck I'm supposed to do that, because even like I was saying before, I did do well this week. I really did well. And even so, there was just pop-ups after pop-ups of new bugs, new tasks I needed to do before launch, all sorts of things. But yeah, so I've got to do a better job of that and allocating time properly. Yeah, those are the main things, I think. And yeah, so going forward, what is to be expected / what are my expectations for this? My expectations are basically nothing. I do not expect anyone to use this app. It is not for that purpose. This is, I think this is going to be free unless I change or add some limits or something. I might just do that, but the plan is to keep it free for people and potentially add some limits depending on my costs. But yeah, I do want to just help people who have this really weird like niche problem like I do with this, and allow them to use it in the ways that I am also going to be using it. So what else can I say there? Yeah, like, again, I built this for me, because this is, okay, so I built this for me and my friends, but ultimately, even if my friends don't use it, I will still fucking use it, and I'll use it until the day I die. Probably not, but just, I am going to use it, and it's just crazy that it's finally here. I didn't do a very good job of loving the process the past week, by the way. Just very everywhere. Just very unbalanced, I was coming from such a weird place. It was very strange. But hopefully better at that going forward. And so yeah, like, again, my expectations, just as long as I'm using it, that's a win in my books. I learned a lot from coding, in terms of like React and Redux, and also the libraries I used with this project. Constantly kaizening, constantly improving my coding abilities. The UX and UI design. Yeah. Overall, pleased with how everything's gone. And yeah, I don't even know what this fucking video / podcast came out to be. I'm seeing the time and I'm just like, have I really been talking this entire time? But it's late, so I'll give myself that. I wonder if this will go up. It probably will. So I feel like it probably will. Anyways, I hope this brought a little entertainment, and I hope that whatever that desire is that you've had for a very long time, that keeps speaking to you like List spoke to me for this. Like, there's just like this feeling that you know it's the right thing to do, and it's nagging at you. A combination of those, I think, is best. But when that occurs, I feel like it's best if you don't suppress that. I feel like it's best if you take action. It doesn't need to be 24 hours a day. It can just be like here and there, and over time that adds up very quickly. Continuous daily improvements yield massive long-term results. One of my favorite phrases ever by JC. And that is not Jesus Christ, by the way. And yeah, so I encourage you to hack at that dream, hack at that vision, hack at that goal. And ultimately, I feel like over time, you will create exactly what you're intending to. So anyways, my name is Josh Moxey. I have built a list, and I will catch you later.